Right, this is just going to be a quick post discussing audio or issues I've had with audio. Basically, it's kind of sort of just trying to explain that I'm aware that it's not, in comparison to the rest of it, the audio, I think, well, the audio does let it down, I think, and I'll just kind of talk through the problem solving processes I've tried to do to sort it out, why they haven't worked, why that is exactly in terms of the footage, and then yeah, what I plan to do for it in the future. Basically, like this, unable to fix it for the deadline, but which is unfortunate. But you know, we live and learn. Basically, the issue is basically we recorded the audio on set using the Fostex and the Sennheiser ME66 mic on a boom pole, and basically the presumption was before shooting was that we'd get some passable audio that we could then go and edit in Audition to clean it up and get it sounding nice and crisp. And this is probably a fault on our part as a production team in that we didn't. I think I personally I don't know much about audio editing at all. Like before having to deal with this stuff, my experience with audio editing was fairly non-existent in so much as I knew how to turn up the volume on something, but in terms of frequencies and understanding that stuff, yeah, very much a layman. But basically the issue is as you can see in the footage, we filmed Dispossessed was filmed in my flat, which is essentially in one small house completely covered in tiles with no soft surfaces. This, as it turns out, is not a very good soundstage, so basically the issue was what we didn't realise. I thought listening to the raw stuff to begin with, I thought to myself, well, I can approach that in post-production and deal with it. Turns out you can't really fix that stuff because it's in the recording itself. There's a certain amount of stuff you can do to fix it, but in terms of it's like peaking, which thankfully didn't happen too often in the piece. I think we have one moment of peaking in the scene where they're standing on the stairs in costume when Mark shouts at Paul. I think that's the only major bit of peaking in the piece that we've had to sort of cut out. But basically, after I'd taken the clips into Adobe Audition, started off my kind of process for dealing with it was I went and immediately put on a noise reduction on the entire audio track, which basically removed the background hiss and stuff like that, which is fairly self-explanatory. Yeah, got rid of that, and that worked fine. It was nice. Like there wasn't a great deal of hiss, so in a few clips where there was a lot of hiss, we'd have like the audio would go a bit tinny and things like that. But that's not the worst of the issues. But the thing is once we removed that, we removed the noise. Well, I removed the noise, and then I'd go through and basically normalise the audio, which is just bringing up the weight, keeping the dynamic range of the audio, but making it louder in terms of decibel levels, just tweaking it so that it can be the loudest it can be without peaking, but keeping that same dynamic range and stuff like that. So I'd go through a process of normalising, compressing, all that kind of, just to try and make the audio, make the waveforms look right. But upon normalising, what I found was that what I didn't originally hear was the heinous amount of echo that's on the footage, which is obviously coming from the fact that all the surfaces in this house are hard, all the rooms we filmed in have harder surfaces, and all the characters all have fairly deep voices, so it's all just boom, 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 boom everywhere. So after trying to fix it, I'd looked at a few kind of tutorials and stuff like that. I'd done all kinds of stuff with equalizers. I went and looked in at the process of sound editing, so I'd looked at things like I now kind of understand frequency in some way, in so much as I understand that lower frequencies, tweaking lower frequencies will affect the bass. So if you drop the decibel level on the lower frequencies, what will happen is that you'll get less bass in the clip. Higher frequencies deal with treble, which is kind of, I guess, the opposite of bass. I guess once again, you'll forgive me for my lack of knowledge on the matter. But I tweaked this stuff and kind of like it wasn't. I just couldn't fix it. I think it would take a greater audio editor than me to take the audio from where it is and make it okay with a greater amount of time than we actually had in which to do it. So kind of what I've had to, it's unfortunate, but what I've had to do with the audio is just sort of get it audible, basically get it so that the audience can hear what's going on, know what's going on, and in terms of things like the echo and stuff like that, it doesn't make it any less intelligible. Yeah, it doesn't make it intelligible having the echo on there, but the heaps of effects that I tried putting on it to fix it in Audition would actually make it worse. To be honest, I played around with reverb and stuff like that, and dropping the compression levels, and it just didn't. It just made things worse. They sounded like robots with weird kind of peaking, like odd levels and stuff like that, and just nothing really worked. So the plan is for after the shoot, it's we can't do it for the actual for the hand-in, unfortunately, because all the actors are all they're all busy with their own. They've got acting for theatre on and stuff like that, so we're unable to grab them for ADR, additional dialogue recording, and so what we're going to do is after the project is done, we're going to take a more relaxed approach to dealing with the ADR. I'll write out a script for all the lines that have to be said, and then rework it for in order to just get the piece really nice, because I think audio is so important, and I think it would be a shame to let it bring the piece down in the long run. But that's just kind of, I just wanted to demonstrate that I'm aware that audio is an issue, and I've tried to fix it. I've learned a great deal about frequency and all that kind of thing along the way, and I've learnt enough that I'm not capable of fixing it in the time that we have, and my general ability. I need to learn Audition and be able to have a lot of time in order to just get the clips okay. So it would, in reality, if this were in a professional setting, we'd go out and record ADR. And I think if we carry on with Dispossessed and maybe do more episodes or something like that, we'll most likely deal with things with on-set audio and then re-recording everything with ADR afterwards. So yep, that's that. Thank you very much for listening.